Another very cold, rainy day. It'll not be long before it starts to get nice and warm, but it's just basically thrashed it down. But it has given those plants a really good watering. That's one benefit. You might notice I'm still in greenhouse, which means that basically the guy that was collecting it yesterday never turned up. But I have got somebody else lined up for tomorrow, and I think it's a more worthwhile cause, shall we say. This lady already had a greenhouse, but on Monday it got hit by a mini tornado. Basically rolled that greenhouse and smashed the entire thing to pieces. So I've done it a little bit cheaper, and she's going to come and collect it tomorrow, and that's her setup for this season. As people say, everything happens for a reason. So I've got another day inside this greenhouse, and as you can see, I'm slowly starting to move things into that outside area. The timing was actually perfect, to be fair, because we've just had quite a downpour, so everything's had a proper natural watering. But I'm moving them into that shelter tonight for two reasons. One, it's still quite windy, and windburn will make your leaves look a bit of a mess, and if it's salads, you'll not want to eat them. But more than that, tonight the temperature is dropping down to 1 degree, possibly 0, so there's a good chance of a frost. So we're going to get everything in there, and we'll be doing a test for outdoors, because that's basically what I'm going to be looking at when we move. There's going to be no greenhouse to the rescue, so we need to put things outside in a semi-sheltered area and then put fleece over the top, and then see if there is a frost, whether those plants pull through alright, even being outside of this protection. So it's a good test to do a few days before we leave. And I've also been looking at my peppers, and I think I'm going to have to pot a couple on. They're getting to be a good size now, but we're also getting buds growing on them. They're basically tiny little peppers that's trying to form. You can see those in the centre there. Little tiny peppers trying to grow. And we have got options with that. We can just pick those buds off and then leave this plant to grow on a bit bigger before it even attempts to grow fruit, which is something that I do tend to do. We don't want the plant getting stressed trying to grow peppers at such a young age. So basically I just go in, pinch off those little pepper buds, leaving all the leaves intact, but just removing those peppers. They can come at a later date. But I'm also looking at these as well, because apart from being quite dry again, I've got to keep my eye on these roots. They don't seem that bad. I was hoping that I could get them down to where we're going without repotting them, and then repot them once I get there. It just makes it so much easier to transport them in these 9cm pots. But we've got to check a couple. Once again, this one has got extra top growth and little peppers that are trying to grow. So as much as I don't like to do it, I am just going to go around, take off every little pepper that I see. We'll grow back later on. Some bottom leaves that I haven't removed yet, we can take those off. And then check this one as well. And again, very dry, but the root system's not right at the bottom yet, so I actually think we're going to be alright. I was going to pot a few on today, but I think for the sake of 3 or 4 days we'll be alright to leave those plants as long as we water them. I might give them a bit of feed as well, just dilute a little bit of tomato food into a jug and then just top up the nutrients, give them that boost that they probably need by now, because they've been in them 9cm pots for quite a while. But I'm not doing much or anything else today apart from finalising all the bits and bobs that we're going to be taking and getting them arranged so that when that time comes they can just be loaded up and we can go. So preparation at the moment is key. I noticed that we had a cucumber germinate. We did sow 6 seeds in this pack and none came up. I think they're old seeds, but there's one that's trying to come up there. Sometimes the seed will stick to those leaves and it'll stop those 2 leaves from opening up to get sun. Sometimes you can take them away without damaging it, and then sometimes they can be quite difficult to get off. But if you can manage it without ripping those leaves, just pull that little seed off there, then that plant will now open up its leaves. But 1 cucumber out of 6, it's a pretty poor average, so I am assuming that they're all seeds, and we'll go and get another pack of those shortly and we'll sow some fresh, because there's plenty of time to be growing tomatoes and cucumbers at this time of year. It's just the peppers that need that head start. So I'm basically just going to move all those items off that bench into that area, get everything together, and then get that fleece ready for later. And we've also got a nice harvest of salad that we can take today as well, which is always very welcome, especially coming up to the weekend. That's just one thing less on a shopping list. And before I move the rest of these plants into that area, thank you so much to his latest donators. All the followers of this channel have been nothing short of amazing in making donations to help us with what we're doing at the moment. So I'll go and get a few more plants moved over to there, and to be fair, things like salads don't want to be in your greenhouse anyway. That sun keeps coming in and out, along with wind and rain, but it soon warms up in this greenhouse and your lettuce is going to start and wilt. The peppers, tomatoes, they'll be fine. So let's move the rest of them into that shelter and see how much room we've got left in this little container garden area. I put everything in baskets to make it easier to move. You can see we've got loads of potato plants on the way now. These have all had really good watering. That's going to do them good. We've got more there. That's a mixture of first and second earlies and main crops. We've also got a few over here. And then a mixture of things. That says little gem lettuces that were recently planted. And if you remember, they were tiny little plants, but they're coming on quite well. We've got some beetroot there, which we'll probably harvest for leaves. And it's had mixed germination as well, so I'm assuming there's a few more going to come, but they'll probably come a little bit later than those. And also our spring onions are looking really well. That's what's left of his little gem, so we're keeping those to grow on, and then we're going to make up another pack of 12, so we've got plenty to go at over the next few months. And then we've got another salad container, definitely ready for a bit of an harvest. This one, it's looking really well, and we've got a nice mixture of colour in there too. So we'll get these moved up to that area, out of that wind, because wind, rain and then sun is not a good mixture for lettuce. We've already got quite a few bits up here. That's a miniature rhubarb plant, and then a selection of other plants that I've put in front, and all his lettuce. And I have set up a couple of racks as well. The good thing about this is it does get some sun through the day, but for a lot of time it is shaded, which is really good, especially for things like spinach. It'll stop it bolting. The spring onions look brilliant. Still haven't moved those sets on, but obviously you know why that is. We can always sort some more out a little later. All these containers are brilliant. That is an amazing colour. So we've got quite a bit of room in this area to put even more stuff. I just made up a rack and then use one at shelves to extend it across there, just to help us out a bit. We can bang all those potato plants on there and then throw fleece over everything by end at night. So there we go. That's his mini container garden all set up ready for tonight. So if we do get any problems with frost, we can protect them best way we can with that fleece. So as you can see, perfectly happy in the new environment. We make use of whatever space we can, and we also try and make things work in any way possible. And when we get to the new location, that's not going to be any different. I've already got my eye on a couple of things that I think are going to make the front of that caravan look amazing, but we'll get round to that very shortly. Meanwhile, at least we know we don't have to put on those peppers. They're going to be fine. As plants are in that shelter, they'll get fleece over, so they're protected from that frost if we get any. At least that way we'll be able to take a few plants with us just to get us started. So if you want to see how it turns out over the next week or so, which I think is going to be quite interesting, then please hit that subscribe button, press that notifications bell, and I look forward to seeing you then. Take care, and thank you so much for all your support.